look, I've got 20 minutes, and I want to do more than, and as David just showed, man, it's hard to shove a lot into 20 minutes, right? So I'm going to do my best. And I only really have two goals, and one is to kind of talk about where we are right now in the digital space, but leave you with a couple of things that we all really, really should do, like as soon as possible. Is this better for the photo? Thanks. What we should do as soon as possible to be successful at business and to be able to compete. So I've been in a variety of tech and sales and marketing for just over 20 years. Originally with Microsoft, now with Oracle. In the 10 years in between, I was running a bunch of small companies, like ones that I started myself or that people hired me to run, where I had to wear all the hats. And there are probably some people in this room that are running their own companies, or they have to be the marketer one day, the salesperson the next day, and CEO on the third day. So I just want a quick show of hands so I can get an understanding of who you all are. How many people in this room are like a business owner or CEO of their company? Yeah? All right, and I know we have multiple hats these days, but how many see themselves more on the marketing side of the business? How many marketers here? Okay. Others would be sales. And you can put your hand up more than once, it's okay. And how about IT? And then the rest is filled up with finance and business development and operations and all of that. Okay, cool. We got a good blend here. So let's just get started. I want to talk about how we can understand our customers, engage with them better, and therefore do better business. All right, so if you're 21 years old today, you were born a couple of years after I started my career. And in my career, like a lot of people in this room, you saw all these changes happening. And if you look back, it's amazing to really think about how much has changed and how well you all have adapted to those changes. But someone now who has purchasing power, who's making decisions, and God forbid, running their own companies at 21 years of age, they grew up with Google. They grew up with Amazon. Facebook was there when they were just 10 years of age. So they're just very native digitally. And they're used to getting information and consuming information real time. For those who have kids, you see them on the iPad and just flipping through Instagram or YouTube videos. So we are catering for those people. I tend to overshare. This is me and my daughter. This was the day that my daughter introduced me to Snapchat. So she put a funny nose on and the voices, I don't know if you guys ever did this one, it's really cute. I was going to do a video, but that would have been really oversharing of me talking with my daughter. But this is her life, and those are some of the photos she takes. And a really interesting quote coming from the CEO of the Snap Group is that people wonder why their daughter is taking 10,000 photos. You know, they think that she's actually preserving images, but no. She's talking. That's how she communicates. And this is just one snap, one point in time. This is going to continue to evolve and to change. The other thing that has changed is how people interact with your brand, right? We're at a retail event. Retail used to mean you have a shop and you have a sign out front. That's audience awareness, that's branding, that's acquisition. You put an advertisement in a paper, a magazine, and then people come to your shop. Well, these days, people are doing everything online. Right? I'll show some stats later on, but they're being exposed to something. Hey, I have a need. Look at this awesome hat that I just saw on Instagram. Man, I need that. And they start wanting to research it. So that's a discovery of a need. Next thing is they're researching. We care a lot about what our friends think. Now it's what our friends think on Facebook. Hey, how do I look in this hat? Other people see it. Hey, let's buy. There's word of mouth happening. There's feedback. You're always seeing the latest thing I was reading was a hotelier versus a blogger and them going head-to-head against the blogger was trying to get a free room. The hotelier said, no, homie, don't play that. I'm not giving you a free room. So we have to be aware about what our social presence is on the internet as well. So it's no longer the signboard. It's no longer a linear path to having a customer come in and buy from us. It's like all over the place. Right? Now, how do we deal with it? So, by the way, the 96% of CMOs are not happy with this end-to-end customer journey today. Duh, because their job's way harder, right? Our jobs are way harder. So, the other good news, by the way, is since this is so hard, someone with less capability would be able to have your job, right? But since you're so smart and on top of this, you're very marketable, right? And you can make more money and demand more money. But that's the reality today, is that we have to do our marketing based on all the possible ways that people can interact with our brand. And just a few moments, or a few examples. We're talking about CX, right? We're in the age of hashtags. The CX means customer experience. It's just a cool new way of saying something that we've been trying to do right for hundreds of years, right? So we're still trying to provide a really great customer experience. And now it just happens to be online. So people have expectations about how easy it is to buy something, to search a hotel, to get the best price on airfare, and we need to be able to work within that world. So some interesting statistics, probably no surprise, is people research, 74% of people are researching online, right? The other 26% of people are probably 60 years and older, and they're asking their kids to do the research online, right? The 70% are engaging with brands late. So before I make a decision on that phone I want to buy, on that item I want to buy, I'm researching online, and I'm figuring out everything I need before I even get into the store. How many people, all right, personal experience, I just bought for Christmas, my gift to myself was a stereo for my very old car, because the old stereo didn't have a Bluetooth connection. So I went into the store and I said, hey, does this have Bluetooth? I'm looking at all the different models. So the guy just takes it and looks at it and reads to see if it has Bluetooth. Like, how unhelpful is that? Now, what people tend to do is you research everything, then you go in the store, you already know what model it is, and you try to get the right price, or you're ordering it online. So people are figuring everything out long before they have a chance to interact with one of your staff. Now, hopefully, if you have a physical retail environment along with digital, your staff are awesome and they're well trained, but before anyone even sees them, you better have a really good online presence too. And of course, 80% are influenced by social. Well, hey, everyone cares what I'm wearing this batik so you guys like me more, right? I care that you guys will feel comfortable with me. This is me trying to fit in. Maybe you won't realize I'm really a foreigner, right? This is related to, people are influenced by what other people think, right? So in the online world, this is all about social, whether it be LinkedIn, whether it be Snap, whether it be Facebook. We need to have a social strategy. All right, so just before I get into a couple of practical things of the what should we do, I just want to share this one story. I'm married to a very practical woman. I'm a really lucky man because I lived on Orchard Road in Singapore, and I used to live there, and she never once went into any of those Louis Vuitton shops or any of these places to spend a lot of money. Like, wow, lucky man, right? But she's influenced like anyone else. If you're providing a really good customer experience, people that tend to not spend money might spend a lot more on your brand just because it's better, because they feel more connected to the brand. And here's a story about that. I was talking with my wife. I was getting in the car. For some reason, she had her phone on the hood of the car and was listening to music in the garage. And I drove off and didn't realize that her phone was still on the car. So after I got to a certain speed on the highway, the wind picked up the phone. It hit the windshield, went flying, and smashed in hundreds of pieces on the floor, on the road behind me, and trucks ran over it. So my son WhatsApps me and says, hey, Daddy, do you have Mommy's phone? I said, yeah, I do. Here it is. So this is a photo I took after I went and collected all the pieces of the car. Now, where am I going with this? Now there was a need. My wife had a need for a new phone. What phone did she end up buying? She bought this phone. Partly because it was my responsibility to pay for it since I just busted her phone. I think it was a total setup, honestly. But she made this decision, spent twice as much as she needed to spend because she was really influenced by the entire customer experience that Apple had provided. I said, honey, we don't have that kind of money to just blow on a phone. She knew the answer. Oh, it's okay, I researched it. There's a payment plan. If you use your Visa card, monthly payments, interest-free. She had it all figured out. And she never walked into a store. She gave me the 1-800 number, and the rest is history. Guys, happy wife, happy life, right? All right, so now what are we going to do? Quick summary of what I just talked about. Customers, people are native, they're savvy, they have a certain way they want to deal, they want to do business on their terms at their time. Your competitors are all being very innovative. They are adapting. So this is one of these situations where we also need to adapt and be really great at serving up great customer experiences, or we get left the wayside. I find it really interesting, by the way, there's an emerging markets here. This is probably a US-made or North American-made slide. We are the emerging markets that they're afraid of, right? So the great thing about the digital era, the online era, is we can compete on a global scale no matter where we are. So for your products and services, you have to provide a great customer journey, you have to provide personalization, and you still need to manage your budget. So I want to spend a couple of minutes now in the time that I have left focusing on that. The first two could be swapped. There's no particular order here. The first thing you want to do, and this is what we did back in the old days when I come from a small town and I had two convenience stores where I could go to get my bubble gum and my Slurpee. The one was a 7-Eleven, one was a local brand. That local brand was really nice to me. They smiled when I went to see them. They gave me a great personal experience. So I went there. The 7-Eleven had this older guy who was probably very nice, but he was always looking down on me. He was checking to see if I was stealing and keeping an eye to see if I was looking at anything I shouldn't on the top shelf in the back of the convenience store. So that was about really how they engaged with me, was who I wanted to interact with. So we need to be able to engage with people in a way they want to be engaged with. And in the terms of digital era, that is showing them advertisements that are interesting to them, that's contextual. The other is we need to understand and know who our customers are. And in a digital context, again, that's us being able to know all the information about people coming to our website, get information about them so that we can retarget to them and target to others like them. And when we do those two things well, we have empathy, or certainly the appearance of empathy. Our customers feel like we understand them and know them and we're not annoying. So how do we do this? I just want to spend, there's a lot we can talk about. I just want to talk about two things that we can do and you all should do really well. Regardless of your budget, if you're an enterprise customer or if you're a startup, you need to be acquiring people to come to your website. You need to put that signboard out in front of the store that says, I'm here and I exist. Think of this as the neon sign on the left-hand side of the slide. This is, hey everybody, we exist and we have awesome stuff for you. So I can talk about that and something called a data management platform. Then we want them to come and transact, and that's all about us having a great offer and something relevant for them. When they transact, then you have their email address, a phone number, and that's the first thing you want to do, talk about a sales funnel, is you want to drive people from unknown to known for a number of reasons, but one is when you have that information, it's way cheaper for you to market to them, send them emails versus advertising to unknown people on the web. So anonymous, do a transaction and become known. In the Oracle world, we deal with anonymous people using a data management platform. It's called BlueKai. What's really interesting and spooky, for all of you guys here, depending on how much you clear cookies or don't, the internet has about 15,000 data points about you, right? I mean, you'd think, male, female, education level, where do I live, but hey, interested in dirt bikes, has kids, like tons of stuff. And that's stuff that is readily available to you if you have the right software implemented on your web properties and on your apps. You can have access to that. That's important because that's you understanding the customer. The data doesn't lie. So if I'm selling men's stuff, maybe I'm selling this shirt. Now, I might assume I should market men. And maybe I should look at guys like me, 40 plus, and try to target them for the shirt. But the reality may be, when you look at the data on who's coming to your website, that the wives are the ones picking out the shirts for the men. So we have all assumptions about how we should run our business, and that's great because you need to start somewhere. Don't get into analysis paralysis. Start advertising what you think is right, but then look at the data and change your strategy based on that. So as I'm looking, this is first-party data. This anonymous guy comes to the website, and we're collecting data about him. We don't know his name yet until he transacts. Then, hey, these are the types of people that came to our site. Let's look at a whole bunch of people like this guy And this is the difference between first-party data, which is what you own, and going out on the internet and doing third-party data and targeting people that seem to be interested in your product based on the first-party data you collected. Now, anyone here who's done anything on Facebook, Facebook does this, retargeting. So that's a good example for everyone to know exactly what I'm talking about. But outside of Facebook, using our DMP, you can do this kind of targeting across Facebook, YouTube, Google display networks, and across all programmatic advertising on the internet. So a call to action is, whether you're investigating, looking at, come to me, and maybe we have contracts and you can sign something here if I could be so lucky. But look at this, a smart way to do this with a budget that's affordable for your company. And you can start off, if that means starting off on Facebook, get doing it as soon as you can. And this is the kind of impact that we see. When you understand the people coming to your website, and these are our clients, this is very typical results we're seeing, is 30% increase conversion of new customers. Why is that? Well, because I've learned about my customers and I'm showing them the pictures they want to see and the products they want to see. Obvious, right? Next one is increased revenue on existing customers. Because I know who those people are that came to buy something, as they're moving off somewhere else on the World Wide Web, I can advertise and upsell to them another 10%, thank you very much. The other one is, if you're spending money on advertising, and maybe if you're only spending a few thousand a month, saving 15% a month is not such a big deal. How am I for time? 2 minutes. But when you're talking about tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars you're spending in media, you really want to be smart with how you're spending that money. So we see a savings on media just by not targeting everybody and just targeting those people who aren't already customers. And of course, there's also an improvement on ad spend because I'm being more efficient. So I've brought people now into my funnel, and if I go to like engage, expand, retain, and grow, that's where I'm talking about. Now I have the email information about these people. So Oracle has two products, Responsis and Eloqua, and they have their various strengths and weaknesses depending if you're in a B2C or B2B environment. But all of them are similar, both of them are similar in a couple of ways. And I'm only flashing these because pictures are worth 1,000 words. My team is the Oracle Marketing Cloud, where we normally talk to marketers. And IT likes us because when a marketer wants to run a campaign, they're not going to IT and asking them for help. Because all of our tools are drag and drop. If anyone's used PowerPoint and you had to do a Gantt chart or something, and you drag and drop and you add an arrow, that's how easy it is to do a campaign that says, here's the data, here are the people I want to target, send them a hello email. Oh, they don't respond in 2 days, send them another email. That didn't work. Oh, an SMS 3 days later. Like, all of that is automated. And some of our customers like Zalora, Lazada, they have hundreds of these kinds of campaigns running automated with you'd be surprised how small their team is to make this work. So you have an opportunity to have the same level of campaign management as the big guys. The other thing is, you might have 10,000 contacts. Not everyone is the same. How can I be really good at sending out a newsletter or an ad in a way that they will most likely accept? Your click-through rate. So what you do is you take maybe 5% or 10% of your sample, and you have 4 or 5 different options, a different picture, a different copy, a different way of engaging with those people, and you let the system automatically try those out and tally which one seemed to be the best that everyone seems to be clicking on. And it can automatically then pick the best one, and then for the remaining 90% of your database, it sends out the winner. So it's really, really quick way to be efficient. This is A/B testing for those who are familiar with that term. It's automated A/B testing. And the only last point I want to talk about is, because I want to focus a bit on ease of use, this whole drag and drop philosophy that we have, is when you're creating an email template, newsletter, what have you, is it's also drag and drop. So we have a builder, a message designer it's called, to help you create those templates that are on brand and on message, and then your whole marketing team can just continue using that template to send out the other emails. And the system will show you how does it look on email, how does it look like on a phone, how does it look like if it's an SMS. Guys, I run a sales team, so please forgive me to have one salesy slide. But some of you may not know where Oracle has grown. We've always been a database company. I used to work at Microsoft and compete with Oracle. So honestly, my first few months at Oracle, I sort of felt dirty that I joined the other guys. But I always thought of Oracle in the old days as being a database company. They still are, but data is not just databases, it's big data, it's data on the web, and Oracle's a leader when it comes to using that data to do data-driven marketing campaigns and marketing automation. And this is from Forrester. And we do have the whole gambit, and I'm happy. We've got a booth just outside, so if anyone wants to come and talk to us, it's the big red booth. We'll be there all day. But we have the whole end-to-end process of being able to help you with your campaigns and with your service, how to service your clients, how to retain them, and circle back and do it again. Whoa, that was a lot in 20 minutes, and maybe 20 minutes and 30 seconds.